It's time you stop being fine with the bare minimum. The smallest amount of efforts, the little mediocre things, the things that barely get by. You're able to pass, you're able to get by, but really, deep down, you barely tried. You just slapped it on the table and did nothing else. You didn't put your hard work in it. You didn't put your best. You didn't put in your best effort or even expectations. Stop being fine with the bare minimum of, oh, well, I can just date this person because, at least they look good. Like, you cannot live a life like that. You want to expect things, you want to get the best, you want to be the best, but you're only settling for the bare minimum. Really, do you think you're going to achieve your goals that way? Do you think you're going to get all you want out of life that way by only passing by, going through the motions? And I know it's so easy. It's so easy within society. Every single thing is focused. Like, from the time you're in school, you're taught, oh, okay, at least pass, at least get that 70 so you can be able to pass the class. So then people they aim for a 70, and they might barely get a 70, or they might even fail because they're just aiming so low. Even in dating, it seems like everything, we have like all these different TikToks and Instagram reels with, pop the balloon challenge. And it's like people like will just take the bare minimum, like just saying that, just saying you're attractive. That's kind of a bare minimum for a person, or saying, oh, well, at least they don't kill people, or at least they don't sell drugs. That's a bare minimum. Like, what else is there to offer? What are you adding? What are you gonna be giving? What are you gonna be bringing towards this relationship? It's every single thing. It feels like society's just pushing you to strive for the bare minimum, to not really go the extra mile, to go and take the extra steps. And it's hard. I know it's not the easiest every single time to go and put yourself out there to pursue the hard things, the things that take time, the things that, people might not always notice all the small details, but it ends up being worth it. It's always worth it in the end. Not just for you, but for the people. The people, when they see that you're not striving for the bare minimum, even if it's the small little things, someone is gonna notice a little small thing. And even if they don't, it all adds in culmination and has a larger effect. And when you strive for things that are better, when you strive to be better in every single area, you put your best foot forward, you do the very best you can in every single thing so you can excel, it's eventually going to pay off. People are eventually going to be like, oh, you know what? That person, I can see they work hard. They go the extra mile. Why do people like Kobe, who are famous for, the Mamba mentality, where he talks about, oh, he's always doing his best, every single thing. He's pushing himself to his hardest. And people, they know him for this mentality. They call it literally has this whole entire thing called the Mamba mentality. And it has all these different things. And people take notice of it, but they didn't take notice of it at the very first start. Probably when he first started playing, he's probably just an average, probably just the average tall black guy that was playing basketball, and they're probably like, oh, okay, he's cool. He's good at basketball. But no, being consistently trying the very best, it forces you to grow. When you're breaking your limits over and over and over, it forces them to rise. Like, imagine you have a ceiling, right? You have the ceiling right here, and then you're going and hitting it over and over. Eventually it's gonna break, and then there's gonna be a new ceiling, and then you're gonna hit it over and over and over until it breaks, and then it just goes, and you continue to grow. That is how you grow. That's how you be in a constant state of improvement. That's how you live in a constant state of getting better, pursuing like, you cannot pursue purpose. You cannot pursue all these things that you want if you're not going to focus on getting better, if you're not going to focus on doing your very best. And your very best doesn't mean everyone else's best. You have to, this is another thing. Everyone wants to compare. They want to compare, like, oh, I did good. Like, you'll think, oh, you did good. And then you go look at the next person, look at a classmate, look at a friend, look on Instagram, look on social media, look at all these other people, someone your same age, and you're like, oh man, that like, it was trash. Like, that wasn't that good. I didn't really, I didn't perform the best. I could have done better. Or my stuff is trash. You think that because you're only comparing it to someone else. You're living a life of comparison rather than staying in your own lane and realizing, I tried my best and I improved. It might have been a bit hard, but I know I'm gonna get better from this, because it's just like working out. When you work out, you're flexing those muscles over and over. You're working them out. You're literally working them so hard that the muscle fibers, they break apart and they come back stronger. It's the same thing with every single thing in life. When you're spending time reading and truly spending time growing your mind, listening to podcasts with information that's actually valuable, spending time to learn and continue to learn, not just in school, but outside everyday life. You're focused, you're making your brain just be more adapted to learning and growing and getting better and continuing to get better. You know, when you do that with your skills, like for me, I'm a photographer and filmmaker. Those are things that I'm excellent with. And when I go and practice that, when I go and edit videos, when I go and spend time really bettering my craft, working on my composition and all these different things, I get better. It might not always be the easiest. Sometimes it might not come out the way that I want it to, but I end up getting better over time. And that is the only way you're going to truly get better. That's the only way you're going to advance. Life is moving like a current. The only thing that's guaranteed to anyone in life from the time they're born is death. That's the one thing that every single person on earth will die. That's the one guarantee. Like everything about their life as soon as a person is born. And you have to imagine that life is a current. Life is constantly moving. It's constantly moving forward. And you have this current. And here's you. And if you choose to stay stagnant, if you choose to not move, if you choose not to go forward in life, you're gonna fall behind because everything else is moving and you're staying stagnant. So guess what's happening? You're falling behind. You're not advancing. But if you at least go with slow motion, at least if you're moving somewhat, then at least you're moving with the current. At least you're advancing and you're going with the times. But if not, you will fall behind. And sooner than later, you're gonna find yourself. You're gonna be like, wow, why is there such a big gap? Why do I feel like I'm so behind everything in life? Why do I feel like everything that I wanted is just so far out of reach? It's farther than it was, and more time has passed. You think that age, is equivalent to getting better? You think age is equivalent to wisdom? You think age is equivalent to improving? No, there are lots of people. There are 40-year-old men who are less mature than 18-year-old guys out there. There are whole guys with families and they have worse issues than young men. They can't lead their families. They can't handle a job. They can't handle responsibility. They have a problem with alcohol. They have a problem with drugs. They have all these different things. And then they're young people. See, age is not equivalent to it. That's why you have to be in a constant state of improving. You cannot afford to live a life where you are not constantly improving. And it doesn't mean every single day is going to be this drastic improvement, but at least 1% a day. If you improve at least 1% a day, every single day for a whole entire year, that's 365% increase. And let me tell you what, humans, we are not linear creatures. The way God made us, the way Jesus made us, we are not linear. Everything in this computer age, everything, it seemed like, oh, it's linear. It's this straight linear path. But let me tell you something about people. When we do things, whether it's actions or, our lives, our character, everything about us, everything that we work on, humans are exponential. It may start off a little flat. It curves. It starts curving a little bit. It starts curving more and more. And then eventually you hit this particular curve, this middle part of the curve. And then after that, everything starts to shoot up. But at first it looks flat. It looks like it's only barely rising. But give it more time and watch. And once you hit that curve, everything shoots up. It's like things like when you're on that bulk, when you decide to lock in, when you get into that period of isolation where you're just focusing on your businesses and, your social media or whatever it is that God is calling you to work on. When you spend that time locked in, that's when you achieve all of that. So really put your best foot forward in everything. You do not know who's watching. You do not know who is going to see that at the end of the day. There might be someone that might be a destiny helper, a person that's supposed to help you in life, that will carry on, that is supposed to bless you in ways that you can't even imagine. All from just seeing your best. But if you don't try your best, if you just put in a mediocre thing, then just going to be like, oh, okay, whatever. It's just this average person, it's like nothing, just a dime a dozen, You don't want to live a life like that. Every single chance is an opportunity. Every single thing. Every single time you don't think there's a chance, there is. And you have to always be in a state of preparation. You have to be in a state where you're always getting better. Because when you get your opportunity, that's when people are like, oh, it's lucky. It's not just lucky. It's preparation meeting opportunity. That is what actually gets luck. Because you're preparing, but then the opportunity happens and you're prepared. You have your buckets out. You have everything ready to go and fully capture that blessing. Now, if you want to watch a video fully breaking into that, you can just watch this video right here. It'll help you and set you up so you can prepare and be ready so you do not miss out on your success. You do not miss out on your blessing. You do not miss out on your life-changing moment. Click